we've been planning this for a little while, and he lives in Muncie, Indiana, and everybody who calls me know I live in Indianapolis. So there's a little distance between us, but we made it happen.
Finally. glad we did too.
Yeah, it's a Christmas holiday, New Year's, so it's around the corner. We just celebrated Christmas, but now it's almost time for the New Year. So I'm introducing. He's not new to the game, but I want everybody on the come up to see who I got coming up, and he's coming up. So anyway, this is his father's studio, and later on, he and I are going to get together and have an interview also, because he's a rapper, he's R&B rapper, and a gospel rapper. So this is Chris Mack, and his daddy's name is CMD. Really too. So.
Right.
Okay, so Chris, I want you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, how you got started. I know, but they don't know.
Right.
And so tell them a little something about what you did.
Sure thing.
How you got started.
How I got started, whenever I tell my origin story, it begins with giving recognition to my dad, CMD himself, because he started before I started rapping. And I didn't really pick up the pen and start writing my own music until I had seen him doing it. When we moved into this house, which was, I'm 23 right now, going on 24.
I wish I was 23.
I think I was the age of 8 when we moved in here. Yeah, so that would have been my second grade year, years ago. Moved into this place. My dad and my grandfather built this studio in the garage. And so he's been making music for a very long time. And every now and then I would sit in on a studio session that he had, and you know, me and the family, we got a chance to go to some of his live shows when he was rapping at different block parties, church events. There was a point in his life where he really started following and walking in his faith, following Jesus, and those were the shows we could attend.
Yeah.
That's in contrast to what he used to write about. And so at that point, you know, it began to pique my interest, wondering what it'd be like to write my own music and to record that. And, you know, I've enjoyed music all my life. I wouldn't say I'm the typical music hip-hop head, but I was just around my dad, my parents so much, not just my dad, but my mom, to where they listen to R&B, they listen to soul, they listen to hip-hop. And so, but he was the inspiration behind what I did. I started writing music and rapping about Jesus and just my life as a person because I saw him doing it. And so he took note of that probably around, so fast forward from the age 8 up until 11, age 11, around the 5th grade. That's when I started writing my own music. Not 8, but 11 years old.
Okay. You were just tinkering around from 8 to 11.
8 to 11, actually, I wouldn't even say it. I was observing. Yeah.
Okay.
I was observing from afar. Like,
yeah.
You know, again, I was in here watching my dad rap. I was at the shows, and eventually, it was like, you know what? It was around 11 when I said I should try it out.
Yeah. Now, wait a minute. I want you to understand why I love him so much. Because he's a Christian rapper. He's just not the ordinary rapper. He's talking about, not saying God not talking about nothing, but when you put Jesus in the mix, you got something going on. So I'm really excited about him because what he writes about. So go ahead.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I began to really understand as I got older. So, you know, long story short, Dad took note of me writing. Even my cousin was writing at the time, and he lived with us. And so we had a hip-hop group called SOG. Started making music doing that, started doing the same thing that my dad was doing. Eventually, I knew that I aspired in hip hop craft to do it full time eventually, and even now that's still the goal. That's one of many goals, or one of a few goals. I'm understanding the importance of doing that now. So one of the goals to hopefully be able to make an occupation out of this, and that means work hard and grind. But as I've gotten older and I started taking my faith more seriously, and you know, I was born and eventually raised to be a Christian, but it's something significant about when you understand the grace of God and you understand like how bad you need a savior from your sin. So there's this point in my life where I repented of my sins and wanted to turn and really enjoy my relationship with Christ. And if you're a Christian and you don't know what that means to enjoy that relationship, you need to. This is so important. Not saying that life is perfect.
Yeah.
Not saying that I'm perfect. You know, I still got things that I'm working out with the Lord.
And the
I got
struggle
people.
is there.
Struggle's there. Struggle's real.
It's real strong.
Oh, yeah.
Real strong when you're a Christian.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm a Christian is I recognize that I am broken and I do need a Savior. It's not that I am a perfect person, so therefore I enter this country for it.
Right.
That's not it at all.
No, it's not it at all.
So all that being said, the great thing is, in my music that I make now, as I've gotten older, I've gotten okay with being able to share those struggles that I deal with, whether that be youthful, lustful passions in women, or just trying to walk the straight and narrow, trying to take my faith seriously, or even having fun. You know, I went to Ball State University. I graduated in 2015.
Ball you in the house, yeah.
And you know, I got a chance to experience college life, not just the work side of it, but even forming great friendships there and being able to have a good time. Now, here's the thing. I used to live in this house that me and my friends called the Humble Abode. It was kind of like a Christian fraternity house. If you will. Not a fraternity at all, but we would throw parties in there, and we would have movie nights and game nights. And the funny thing is, our officer was a landlord. He knew that we knew how to have fun, but we did it in a clean way. And we've had even officers come to those house parties wondering
what's really
what's going on here.
Yeah.
Search the house and see, hey, there's no alcohol here. There's no, everyone looks okay, right?
Yeah.
Everybody looks sober, but we're not used to this. Because, I mean, we filled that house to the max. We had people inside the house and outside of the house, too. And it's still something going on, even though I'm not in that house. So I've made a song about that experience, being able to, you know, have fun, but to an outsider look like we up to no good.
Right.
So I make songs about my life experiences and just my life in general. You know what I mean?
Right. That's the families coming in, because we had
they are
we are in the house he pretty much grew up in, and his daddy and mama's house. So you hearing them in the background.
Right.
It's okay.
I might shut that door. I'm gonna do that real quick. Give me one. The subject matter of my music is what I experience in life, and Christ is one of those things for sure. And that may mean that there are some songs that are explicitly about Jesus, or even songs where you don't hear his name, but you can tell that it's different. Yeah, and the funny thing is, I see that a lot when I perform or when I let someone hear my music. Like, the first thing they notice is, oh, this guy don't cuss in his music, but he a rapper. Mm-hmm. And then they tend to put the pieces together. Like, are you a Christian rapper? Like, is that why you ain't cussing? Like,
and then I hate to say it, but all rappers don't cuss, and they may not even be Christians. But you know.
Yeah.
And then a lot of even some of the rappers who do cuss, they still acknowledge God, and that goes back to a gentleman. He's an older cat. He's old enough to be my and your great grandfather. And he was like, we always need to acknowledge the Lord at all times, no matter what we're doing. And that's what I say I love about you so much, because you know it's okay to acknowledge God. It don't make you a square because you acknowledge God. It makes you have good sense. Because as long as you acknowledge Him, you can't go wrong. You may stumble, and you may fall, but you know you can get back up.
Yeah.
And I love to tell young people, or people period, you may fall. You might do something wrong. Let's put it like this, you're going to do something wrong. But you got that grace and that mercy that only God can give. I love that thing.
Yeah. And the important thing of understanding that, and I think this was the turnaround point for me, being a Christian, being raised a Christian from a young age up to now, is knowing that grace is there. And because there's so much grace through Christ, I should not be living the same way that I am, right? Like God accepts us for who we are, but that doesn't mean that He wants us to stay where we're at, right? There's, I think a good way of explaining it is when you realize somebody loves you deeply. Marriage, for example, when you love somebody and they love you and you commit a relationship with them, that means that changes will happen. That means you're going to progressively get to know that person the same way that we should get to know God, instead of just being in the same spot. Like, hey, read my Bible app real quick and I'm good for today. No, it's much more than that. It's a lifestyle to live with the Lord. But then also knowing that, man, there are some things that God does not condone that I should turn away from, mainly because it hinders the fellowship with Him. Not because He's being an evil judge. If anything, He's righteous in that. But He wants us to fully grasp His glory.
And just like when you say a marriage, when you first get married, you don't really know each other. You know each other, but you really don't know each other.
Right.
And then when you take my word, I know. And then, but because of that love you have for each other, you try to make each other happy. And that's what you do in Christ Jesus. You try to do what you think is going to make them happy. And so, let's kind of wrap it up in the ball. So, you got anything coming up?
Yes, I do. In terms of live shows, I got a good friend, James Daytona, who I've been able to just chat with recently. I like to get to know artists before I really work with them. We've been able to chat a little bit, but James Daytona, King Jeffrey, and New Breed, they have a concert at City View Church this Friday, December 30th, right? December 30th at 7:30 p.m. It's on the west side of Indy. If anybody wants to attend that, it's $10 and $15 for VIP tickets. So it starts at 7:30. That's in terms of shows that's coming up soon.
The church is again, the name of the church?
City View Church.
City View Church. I'm looking that up.
Yeah. In terms of music to listen to, I'm working on an album right now called Dear Journal. I'm going to release that January 23rd. It's actually on my birthday. So I don't know. I just wanted to do that. So that'll come out January 23rd. It'll be on sale, iTunes, your typical streaming sites, or sites you can download music from. There's iTunes, there's Bandcamp, the Apple Store. No, not Apple Store. What is it? Google Play?
Yeah, Google Play. Yeah.
Anyway, you can find it on those sites. Okay. I will have it on my Bandcamp, RealChrisMack.bandcamp.com. Have this giving philosophy that I love, where if you can't actually purchase the album, you can actually download it for free as well. So I'll have more information about that. And if you want to know more about that, they can follow my social media
That's right.
sites.
So tell them about your social.
It's Real Chris Mack. So if you want to check me out on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, all you got to do is search me as Real Chris Mack. I have a SoundCloud as well if you want to stream music that way.
And I will have all that information in the links below.
Yeah, good stuff. And then the central hub right now is RealChrisMack.bandcamp.com. But again, just type in Real Chris Mack in Google and you'll see an abundance of things.
Now, do you have any videos on like YouTube or anything?
Yes, I forgot the YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep. Real Chris Mack on
YouTube.
Right. Right now, we on YouTube now.
Okay.
So, yeah, you can check me out at Real Chris Mack on YouTube as well. I have videos on there, some live video footage as well.
And I'm going to put a little something of him in the beginning. And the ones who follow me know how I do it. I put a little something from the beginning, and then we're going to put something on all the way to the end. So you can check me out.
Cool.
So anything else you want to tell my fans that hopefully will be your fans, really, really soon?
Well, please check out the music. I hope it speaks life into you. You know, I try to make material that is meaningful and that sounds great. I believe in excellence. And in the music, you will find excellence and value and meaning. So I want to thank your followers for taking this time to listen and watch this interview. I greatly appreciate that.
We greatly appreciate you.
For sure.
Because I promise y'all, this has been a work in progress. Well, it's been at least a month or more.
Yeah.
That we've been trying to get together. Like I said, he lives in Muncie. I live here. And we knew around Christmas time he was coming home. So that worked out real fun.
Yeah.
So anyway, Come Up Gang, I really appreciate you checking me out. And as always, hit like and subscribe. And until